Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to the June 19th meeting of the Board of Water and Power Commissioners. I just want to bring to everyone's attention that this session is being taped for broadcast on Channel 35, and the exact broadcast times can be found by contacting Channel 35. So, Barbara, could you please call the roll?
We have Commissioners Moss, Noonan, and Parfait present.
All right, so we do have a quorum for this board meeting. And at this time, I'd like to turn to our senior AGMs and ask if they have any reports or briefings to bring to us.
I'm Jim McDaniel. I'm filling in for Ron. He's at the American Public Power Association meeting. I have no report for the water system. Aaron, did you have any?
I have no report also.
Mr. Lieber?
No separate reports for financial services.
Mr. Sedlacek?
No separate reports for energy efficiency or environmental.
Mr. Wong?
No separate reports.
Thank you very much. Barbara, the third item is comments or requests from commissioners related to DWP operations, and so I'd like to turn to my fellow commissioners. Commissioner Noonan, do you have any requests of the department at this time?
It's really just a follow-up to the request that I made at the last board meeting about having an item placed on the agenda in the near future about procurement. I think it's especially necessary given the correspondence that our board received on June 8th. So I would ask the department to make this a priority.
Mr. Wong, can you see to it that we have a discussion on that topic?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Moss?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 4. Barbara, do we have public comment cards?
I do not have any cards for item number 4.
All right. So at this time, what I'd like to do is to see if we can approve the consent calendar items. And I would like to ask my fellow commissioners if they have any items they wish to pull from the consent calendar.
I do. I'd like to pull items 6, 8, 11, and 23.
6, 8, 11, and 23. Commissioner Noonan?
Item 20, in addition to those.
Item 20. All right. So at this time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve items 5, 7, 9, 10, 12 through 19, 21 through 22, and items 24.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing no objections, the board approves items 5, 7, 9, 10, 12 through 19, 21, 22, and 24. If you were here to testify in regards to those items, you are liberated. Barbara, can you call the next item, please?
The next item would be item number 6, which is amendment number 1 to contract numbers N178A and N178B.
Commissioner Moss, would you like a report on this?
No, I don't need a full-blown report. I just want to know if we've put out the new contract for bid yet. Because I understand this is a... Wow, that's dramatic. I mean, it's important, but I didn't think it was that important.
I apologize. Please continue.
No, I just want to know if we got our next contract lined up, teed up to go.
For the batteries, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Is that gone out as the RFP prepared, or?
Let me...
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Spec 320.
Please introduce yourself for the record.
Yes. Bassam Abu Shakra, Power System Specifications. Spec 320 should be advertised in the next couple of days. So
Okay.
it's complete and it's ready to be advertised through ERSP.
So at this point, we're on proper time frame, so
Yes.
that when this amendment expires, we'll have the next one up?
We'll bring you the contract 320 for approval before the amendment expires.
Great. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'd like to then move for approval of item 6.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Item 6 is approved. The next item, Barbara?
Item number 8, which is spec number 336.
Would you like to hear a report on that?
Yeah, I do. Oh, hi. Yeah, I was just, I was confused by the bid sheets, quite frankly, but that was contained in the report, because it looked like let's see, we're awarding to propose to award to Prominent, but it looks like for some reason Carbon was less. So I just wanted to double check that. Maybe I'm misreading the sheet.
You just want to hear the word GAC. That's why you pulled it.
Probably, or something. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The specific thing was, look at the numbers on the bid sheet for Carbon Activated. There are hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't understand why is there a typo there? On items for first optional period and second optional period.
Got the right sheet here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. And Selma Collins, Acting Director of Supply Chain Services. Yes, if you look at the bids under the third item, it does show a quote of $170 million.
Yep.
So that was the bid that was provided by the vendor. It could have been a mistake, but that was the actual bid that was provided.
Okay, so it's not our typo.
No, sir.
They went up in the first period from $1.5 million, which would have been the lowest bid, correct?
For year one, yes.
Yeah, and then in year 2 and year 3, they're in the hundreds of millions of dollars for both of them?
Yes.
Okay. Is it conceivable that, did you double check their actual bid? I mean, is this really a typo in their bid, or does someone on our staff made a typo?
Yeah. The actual bid results are usually recapped using ERSP. We can double check or triple check them, as a matter of fact. We believe that it was a mistake that was made. We cannot ask them to correct it after bids open, but we can certainly double check or triple check.
Okay, because if there was a typo, then they might be, in fact, the lowest bidder across the board.
Yeah. If you look at the bid at the bottom right-hand portion of the sheet, where it says this firm entered their own vendor quantities for optional periods, they may have made a mistake in the units.
Well, I'm a
But
little...
we'll double check.
Yeah, I'm a
Your point
little
is to make sure that we're
concerned.
not making a mistake.
I'm sort of reluctant until we double check that we haven't made a mistake on our end. I don't know that I would feel comfortable approving this, because it just seems like so egregious. I mean, it's possible that they screwed up, but I just
is
want to
possible.
double check before we award it.
If you wouldn't mind, what we can do is go and check right now.
Yeah.
And that way we can come back and let you know immediately
Okay.
if we double check. But
Yeah,
the
that would be
bids are
fine.
actually entered by the vendors. We can double check immediately.
I think that's an excellent idea. Do we need a formal motion to defer
No.
this?
No, we'll just pick it up
Are you
later.
Okay, we'll
concerned-
just
are you
pick it up
concerned
later.
that we made an error, or that this is a vendor error?
I just want to make sure that it's a bidder error,
That-
that
no,
it's
it's
not
not a
an
department
internal
error. Right.
department error, because that wouldn't be fair.
Yes, we'll double check
Okay.
and let you know.
Thank you.
Barbara, next item?
The next item will be item number 11, agreement number 47997.
I can give you a brief background on this, Commissioner, if you have a question.
Actually, in the interest of time, I can just give you what I was looking at. What I'm understanding here is that we had some unforeseen contingency items, so we're taking from the option part of the contract and putting it into the contingency to cover the contingency. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So what options were we sort of budgeting for initially that we're now not going to be able to do?
So
And
there's a listing of I'm just going to highlight the top options that wasn't exercised. This is an operating power plant that we're doing the remodeling on units 5 and 6. So there are areas where the balance of the plant needed to operate. For example, transformer that was allocated for an option to be dressed by a contractor was switched over to the crew when we had a window to do the work. So we've done the work. So we told the contractor that option we're not going to exercise. The other one was tapping into a hot working fuel line. During the outage, we tapped into that line, and we made the preparation for the contractor. So there was a lot of things before the contract was exercised that we anticipated that we would exercise that was deemed not to be needed. Another one was the yard, where we have an operating switch yard, where our crews did all the work and preparation to hook up the unit 5 and 6. So we're taking the funding from the options that we didn't exercise, and we're moving into the contingency. And the contingency driver is when we were doing the excavation, we found a lot of debris, asbestos and debris and contamination that we needed to clean up, so it's going to go to that allocation to pay for that work.
Okay, so so if I'm understanding you correctly, so there's nothing that we're originally anticipating doing under this contract that is not going to get done as a result of the asbestos that was found?
No, it's done by other means because of that gray area between the two.
And so how are those other means paid for then?
They are allocated under the budget, the normal A and B budget we have for the power plant, and we have a capital budget that pays for that. That's allocated on an annual basis, and while they're doing the other work for normal operations, we pick up the tab for them.
Okay, that's all I wanted to double check. I don't have anything further.
Do you have a motion?
I do. I move to approve item number 11.
Second.
Item 11 carries. Next item, please. Item 20.
Item number 20.
Commissioner Noonan, would you appreciate a report first?
You know, I would, just because I'd like some background on understanding why this program is in place. It's something that I haven't heard of beforehand.
Shannon Pasquale, HR. The city's combined charity contribution campaign has been in existence since 1992. It is under the oversight and the purview of the Los Angeles Police Commission. They have had responsibility for this for quite some time. There was a social service department in the city many, many years ago that was abolished, and a number of the functions of that particular department were consolidated into the Los Angeles Police Department, and the Police Commission themselves are the ones that are responsible for this particular campaign. The process for which currently the city has 11 charitable contribution campaigns or companies that qualify for this program. And then there's a review process that any nonprofit that wants to go through this process files an application with the Los Angeles Police Commission. And there's a specific process that they go by in terms of their evaluation to make a determination as to whether or not they meet the criteria to be included for payroll deduction purposes for city employees. The city has already added the City of Hope and the American Cancer Society. We are coming to you today to add this to our payroll deduction to be consistent with the rest of the city.
Okay, I guess the questions that concerned me is how are certain organizations selected? I understand that there's a commission, and is it just a group of how many people that decide?
It's the actual police commission, so there's 5 police commissioners.
Okay.
They have a charitable section specifically of staff that reviews the applications that come in from the various organizations. They make recommendations to the police commission. The police commission then holds a hearing, makes a determination, and makes a decision as to whether or not they're going to include that organization in the city's campaign, which then employees could then choose to make payroll deductions directly to that organization. So there's a formal process that's in place for this.
Okay, and now does the department match the employees' contributions?
No. These are just direct payroll contributions that the employees can elect to make directly to the organization. We don't match, and the city doesn't match either.
And the last concern I had is there any pressure put on the employees to make certain contributions to these organizations?
None whatsoever. It's completely voluntary on their part. And in fact, they have to complete a payroll deduction card to elect to do that before any deductions would be taken out.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion associated with item 20?
Oh, I have a question, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Commissioner.
How frequently are the employees availing themselves of this payroll deduction option?
If they complete the card, it's taken out every pay period.
No, but I mean overall of our employee base, how many employees are actually doing it?
I don't know the exact numbers of our employees. It's pretty well it's a pretty well organized program in the city. There's thousands of employees that have been involved with this program since 1992. Each year, a city department takes the lead on being the lead agency to go out and get the word out to the employees that these organizations are in fact looking for voluntary deductions, and there's a campaign that's associated with that, and information is being provided. This year, it's the Department of Aging that's taken the lead on it, and so our department was contacted several months ago with information that was distributed once again to our employees, letting them know that they have the ability to do this should they choose to do so.
Do we provide, I mean, do the employees get a tax deduction for a charitable contribution if they do this?
It's pre-tax.
And do we have responsibility as a department to issue some sort of acknowledgement, or is that just automatic to the payroll system?
It's automatic.
Oh, okay, great. It sounds like a great program. I'll make that motion to approve this item.
Second?
Item 20 passes. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item number 23, amendment number 1 to 9 agreements to assist LADWP with ongoing RPS projects.
Yeah. If you have a question.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One, in looking through the board letter, it seems that the MBE and WBE limits are really pathetic in this contract. I mean, mostly zero. I mean, we're well into the contract, and it doesn't seem that the vendors are doing much. So I just wanted to point that out, and maybe perhaps President Sales' absence, I think it should, go acknowledged.
Randy Howard, Power System. You are correct. If you look at those numbers, it's quite disappointing when you just look at it from the number perspective. One of the things that we wanted to point out was only about 15% of the funds so far have been paid out. Part of the reason we're asking for this amendment and then a future extension would be most of the funds have not been utilized under these contracts. They're related to a lot of our renewable portfolio standard work and transmission projects that were delayed as related to the budget and activities. So we haven't done a lot of the work, but it's stated that about 40% of the work is completed. We just have only paid about 15%. So what you see in the actual numbers are related to what's been paid. The actual MBE and WBE numbers are actually much higher once the payments will be made.
Well, why haven't the payments been made?
It's just related to the invoicing and the completion of the projects.
Well, it seems that Category 3 is mostly, if I'm reading this correctly, has mostly been paid out at this point? And is that why you're asking for an additional $134,000?
Yeah, the $134,000 is just meant to bridge until we get the additional package, amendment number 2, that will come through and we'll go to City Council. We're working with the CAO on the package now that will go to City Council, be related to the larger extension.
But why is it necessary to authorize another $134,000 if we haven't even come close to, authorizing what we've already agreed to spend?
The duration is terminated, and but we didn't spend a lot of the money. So we're asking to allow us to use $134,000 as we bridge, and then we'll bring another package to the board that will also go to City Council for an additional 18 months. No additional money.
Now I'm confused. Is this 134 in addition to what we've already approved, or is it of the amount that we've approved?
The authorization of this board, from what I'm mistaken, is that the dollar amount is up to 134 authorized by our board. That's going to cross the 3-year period. So we're already at the end of the third year. So for us to add another year extension to this, and the amount of money authorized by our board is only 134. But once we go to the council, then we can get the full amount of the dollars added to that 1-year extension. But we will come to the board first.
Okay, I might need to turn to General Counsel to explain this to me, but I'm a little confused. Is the department not allowed to make any further expenditures under this contract if we just simply extend it for time?
The department wants more time. However, once you go over 3 years, you are limited to 134.7 without going back to the city council because you are now over 3 years. However, there's a small contracts exception. 10.5B2 provides, we call it a small contracts exception, where you have an additional time after the 3 years. You can do that without going back to the city council, but you're limited to 134.7. That's what they're doing here.
Okay, I'm sort of, I feel like I'm a little bit in the weeds. Why is it that each amendment, in the separate amendments that we're approving, each one says 134, 173 on them as an additional amount under the contract?
That's the limit, and I think they wanted to preserve the flexibility to the extent they could get flexibility for each of these contracts.
You have 9 separate contracts here.
Right, but we're approving 134 9 times. Can we do that?
That is correct.
Yes.
Oh, so under each contract, we have a limit of 134 in each contract?
That is correct.
And these are bid, although we have 9 contracts, every task that we issue is also bid amongst these 9 parties. So each one of them is a separate bid as we put out.
All right, I think I'm beginning to understand it. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Item 23 carries. Barbara, next item, please.
Item number 25, optical fiber lease agreement with LAUSD.
Gentlemen, can you introduce yourselves for the record, please?
Matt Lamp, I'm the Chief Information Officer of LABWP. Ken Kinsey, Director of Fiber Optic Enterprise. Okay. What we have here is a fiber lease agreement and short form IRU lease agreement for the Los Angeles Unified School District. They have been a longtime customer of ours. This is their master agreement expired in April. This agreement, because of its length, goes to council, correct?
Correct.
So it had to go through CAO review. There was some extended negotiations with LAUSD because due to the fact that since their previous contract and this contract, we have gone through the introduction of tiered pricing. The pricing on this contract went up 26.6%. LAUSD really needed to chew on that for a while before they were ready to agree to it. But they have. And so this contract includes ratification back to April, correct? So it would be from the board to council. There is the CAO report for it, and USD is ready to approve.
Mr. Moss?
I have no question.
Commissioner Noonan?
Neither do I.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Item 25 carries. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item number 26, issuance of water system revenue bonds.
Okay, we have for your consideration today 3 resolutions related to the issuance of water system bonds. This would be authority to issue $322 million of new money. This will fund about half of the water system's capital needs during the upcoming fiscal year. And we also have the opportunity to refinance about $100 million of existing debt that should save us on the order of about $12 million in interest costs in the years ahead. So these are the final or the supplemental issuance resolutions. Implementing authority that was initially granted earlier. We are asking you today to approve the preliminary official statement, the bond contract, and the escrow agreement related to the refunding. The parties that are going to be assisting in this transaction are listed in the board memo. As to the refunded bonds, we have Siebert, Schafford and Brank serving as the senior underwriter with co-managers of RBC and Wells Fargo. With respect to the new money bonds, we have Wells Fargo as the senior underwriter and the co-senior of Siebert, Bradford and Schenck again, and co-managers of Citibank, De La Rosa, Mitsubishi, Morgan Stanley, and Ramirez. So these are firms that were selected from the pool of 18 underwriters that were approved earlier this year.
Commissioner Noonan, do you have any questions on this matter?
I do not.
Commissioner Moss?
None for me.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The item carries. Thank you very much. Item 27, please.
Item 27 is payment in air quality fees to Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control District.
Good afternoon.
Julie, could you introduce yourself, please?
Julie Riley from the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office.
And with the telegenic, Mr. Adams, please introduce himself.
Marty Adams, Director of Water Operations. What you have before you is our annual fee assessment from Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control District. This year we have reviewed their fee requests and made a determination or recommendation to the board of an amount that we believe is appropriate under the provisions of the Health and Safety Code 42316, which is the law that requires us to provide for funding for that for a Great Basin. It's the department's recommendation that the board approve a payment of $3,728,150 in fees for the coming fiscal year. That represents the amount that covers their normal operating budget, less a special project that they propose to undertake at the Keeler Dunes. We subtracted a $103,200 from the total amount that they sent in their primary bill. That was money budgeted for the special study at Keeler Dunes. Last year when we spoke to them about their budget, they had made note that in light of a finding that we were responsible for dust coming from the dunes, that there would be no further fees for the department. In fact, they actually made intimations that they might actually refund some past fees, which we have not seen. So it's our recommendation that we offer to pay for their normal operating budget less that special project. Also, we did receive request for $1 million in attorney's fees that we are not recommending that we pay at this time. We basically be prepaid attorney's fees to their outside counsel.
It's actually $788,000.
Right, that amount changed.
So they're making a request for $788,000 of DWP to pay for attorney's fees.
Yes.
And what is the hourly? What is the law firm that they've hired, and what is their hourly rate that they're billing at?
They retain the law firm of Morrison and Forster, and the attorney who primarily works on this bills at approximately $750 an hour.
Could you repeat that again?
$750 an hour.
I thought that's what you said.
And that's a point that we've made to their board several times before, that we feel that amount is inappropriate, that even though they are allowed to collect fees from the Department of Water Power, they have to be good stewards of those fees, and we don't think that's happening in this case.
I just want to probe on this. We've obtained outside counsel before to assist the department. What would you say the high end of our consulting fees have been? The very high end.
For this case, we have an attorney who has more than 30 years of litigation experience on natural resources, and his rate is $390 an hour.
That's still a considerable amount of money, but it's not $750 now. All right, I just wanted to bring that to light. Do we open ourselves up to some exposure by not paying the full request?
There is some exposure. There was one case back in 1998, an unpublished case dealing with the department's refusal to pay all of the Great Basin fees, and for that year the department chose to pay nothing, and a court in a limited holding said that the department must pay the regular operational fees in advance and litigate the reasonableness of that later. We find the situation in 1998 to be distinguishable from what has been proposed here today. Great Basin, as we are aware, has several $1 million in reserves of money that the department has paid in the past, has overpaid, that Great Basin has refused to return to you as overpayment, or has refused to offset its future budgets. So they maintain a reserve. This recommendation fully funds all the employees who work for Great Basin, and the only money that would be withheld would be the attorney's fees, which we find to be assessed outside of the parameters of the law, as well as the assessment for the Keeler Dunes, which Mr. Adams has explained we think is outside of the law, as well as indirect contradiction to the representations of the board last year.
And where are can you remind us, Marty, where the Keeler Dunes are located?
The Keeler Dunes are on the east shore of Owens Lake. They're right above, just north of the town of Keeler. And there's been a lot of interest from Great Basin's part to control the Keeler Dunes, and they've intimated they believe the Keeler Dunes were formed due to the lake dropping, which they attribute to our water gathering activities. We know, in fact, that the Keeler Dunes are well over 1,000 years old, and were there before the town of Keeler was established. And we have plenty of scientific evidence to support that fact. So we believe we're in firm ground with that. Also, I'd like to add, as part of this, one of the difficulties in going through their budget is with our new outside counsel looking at recent fee cases and his experience in fee cases and what appropriate fees would be. We are also recommending that we pay these fees under protest so that we can find some ultimate judicial remedy as to what the actual fee structure should be for the years going ahead. Since 1995, paying these fees would bring our total fees to Great Basin to $87 million to pay the regulators since 1995. So we paid 83.5. This will make it $87 million that we paid. There's some question as to what extent of their fees should be part of regular cost of government doing business and how much should really be assessed to us because of our water gathering activities. So we do believe that a challenge is appropriate so we can get those questions answered for the future.
Thank you. Mr. Moss?
Nothing.
I just regret that the department has not taken this kind of action earlier on. It amazes me that we have been writing checks for their budget without truly auditing or establishing what can be billed to us and what cannot. Obviously, we can't change the past, but I think it's completely appropriate that we pursue this as quickly and efficiently as possible.
We will do that.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Begrudgingly, but yes.
Begrudgingly because you wish we had performed an audit previously so we could know the true needs of the Great Basin Air District.
Correct. And if we have made overpayments in the past and haven't been successful in collecting those, it does cause me concern that this is another example of us potentially doing that and not being able to recoup those funds.
So I hear a reluctant second, so motion 27 carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item number 28, amendment number 2 to agreement number 47868.
This is a contract that we've brought to our board on early May for additional year that we requested, and this is testing services that we need in order for us to keep, adding to our system and capital work and testing and commissioning equipment.
Are there questions from the commission?
No.
None for me.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Item 28 carries. Barbara, next agenda item, please.
Next item 29 are filed items, A and B.
Does the commission have questions related to the filed items?
I do have a question about the power report with respect to the ECAP and why the ECAP has spiked.
I believe that's more of the financial services.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so the ECAF balance, which is graphed on the attachment to this report, does show that there has been a significant increase in the month of April. It is important to keep in mind that there is some typical volatility that you'd see month to month here, although this obviously is kind of outside what you would expect just normal variation to be. We do expect that the ECAF balance by the end of the year is going to decline to about $225 million. So that's not terribly out of line with where we had expected it to be at the beginning of the year. But this most significant increase was primarily related to the factors that are noted here, primarily energy conservation revenue loss of $48 million, recoverable debt service on capitalized energy efficiency, and interest recoverable on RPS projects of $32 million. Again, most of those factors by the end of the year are going to be kind of timing related, so we won't be too far away from our forecast.
Thank you.
We will deem item 29, the filed items filed. And Mr. City Attorney?
Did we want to go back to item number 8?
Oh, thank you so much. I regret forgetting about that. Mr. Collins, item 8, whose fault was it?
Well, there was a mistake by the vendor when we were bidding. What happened is we specified the quantity that we're buying. In this particular case, the vendor overrode the quantities and put much higher amounts. So if you look at the spreadsheet on the right margin, for example, if you look at the lower right corner, there's a bid here. It says unit price 450, extension it says 126 million. That's because they're multiplying $450 per unit, but 280,600 units, and that's in the right-hand column. So this vendor went in and for some reason, by mistake, overrode the quantities. And that was something that actually was addressed with the vendor at the time. And it was done in pretty much all the items on the last 2 items in there. So that is the reason why the numbers are so out of whack, because there was an override in the quantity of materials being purchased.
So vendor error.
Vendor error, and we did communicate back to the vendor in writing about the error that was committed.
Mr. Moss, are you satisfied?
Yep, that's all I needed to hear. I'd like to make a motion to approve the item.
Second?
Item carries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Barbara. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, sir. The board shall publicly report any action taken in closed session and the vote or abstention of every member present thereon in accordance with Section 54.957.1 of the California Government Code.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
You do it in here or in the board room?
I'm thinking there.
Do it here?
Here.